Yo, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again. And today, people, today we have Avataro Sentai Donbrothers episode 43, y'all. And this episode was very kind of weird. It wasn't really weird, but it was kind of short-lived. I felt like this episode should have been like a part 2 or part 1 or a part 2. Well, like a part 1, because it was actually pretty interesting to see. I was actually hoping that they would elaborate more on what happened in this episode, especially where we actually see two future versions. We see the future versions of Haruka and Shin, and they're actually dating, like they're together, and Shin is like, the future version of him is like rich, and yeah, he's rich, wears suits and stuff. He doesn't say haikus, he says something else. I think it was a tanka. He also is married to Haruka in the future, so it's weird. But in this episode, we basically see that Tsubasa is trying to figure out how he got out of the forest, how he got out of the slumber forest, and it turns out that he actually was rescued by the guy in the bunny costume that Haruka is like a rival with when it comes down to manga creating and being a mangaka. So he's still trying to figure out who that was, and he does talk to Haruka's aunt in the police station, and he's like, I really just don't remember how I got there or how I got out of it. And yeah, so it turns out he ends up seeing this well, also we got Haruka is basically giving the guys her manga stuff, and they're asking her like, what do you guys think of it? I'm like, why does everybody keep saying her manga's terrible? I don't know, the art is beautiful and she works so hard on it, and it's just like, I don't know, I don't draw, I write stuff, but it's just like, I don't know why it's not that the running joke is just like her manga's terrible and she's a plagiarist and stuff like that. Like, it's still weird, but we actually find out why in this episode, that she's considered a plagiarist. So in this episode, we basically see that after we see that Tsubasa ends up finding he ends up seeing the pink bunny dude. And when he finds him, he goes to the cafe, and then he draws it. He draws the little bunny dude. He draws the bunny guy, and then turns out Haruka knows who that is, and she takes him to one of like his book signings, and he runs up to him, and when he talks to him, he basically says like, he said, who are you? How do you know how to get into the slumber forest? Like, how do you know all this stuff? And it turns out it's a woman, and that's out of nowhere. We see another version of Don Murasame. And he looks different, and he actually looks kind of cooler. Like, his chest plate and stuff is bigger, and he has like gold. He has like, some gold highlight, some golden parts on his armor and stuff like that. And he starts chasing both of them, and he's trying to get to the bunny dude. Or the bunny girl. He's trying to kill her, and he's running with, and we see Tsubasa running through the city with her, basically through these warehouses and stuff, trying to lose Murasame. They ended up losing Murasame. They ended up losing the future Murasame, but the regular Murasame comes in and starts fighting him. They has to start fighting each other, and he's like, "Who is this guy? Like, you don't need to exist." Like, So this Murasame, he's older, and he has somewhat of a different voice. But we can tell that this Murasame is a little older, and also he doesn't in no point in the episode we hear mother talking to him. Well, his mother talking to him. So maybe this Murasame has went through something where, since he got stronger, I guess he doesn't have he doesn't have a mother or anything like that. But he's still fighting him. And then while that's happening, we see Haruka. She ends up catching up with Tsubasa, and then that's when the bunny girl, her bunny mascot head gets popped off, and then that's another Haruka. And yeah, it's another Haruka. She knows everything that's going on or whatever, but we see that they ended up losing Murasame and ended up going back to the cafe. We see that Tsubasa ends up taking the bunny costume and actually putting it on, leading away the future Murasame. So we see that they go Haruka go back to the cafe, and we see that everybody's like super surprised about like, oh, I'm you from the future and stuff like that. And then that's when we actually saw that future Shin, he walks in, and he had the blue suit on and all this other stuff. And obviously, so Kaito isn't surprised at all about this. Kaito isn't even surprised. He's just like, yeah, cool, you know. I mean, he's like your boy, like Kaito's like never surprised about anything. I mean, yeah, he is. I mean, he was about the the Dawn Killer and the Dawn Killer, but other than that, like your boy's not really surprised about anything. So he ends up, they ended up telling them that they got exhausted. Haruka got exhausted being a being a Dawn brother. So she used her points to go on a vacation to the past. So she said she wanted to return back when she was the most successful. So she ended up coming back here, but they ended up being stuck here. And she's been the bunny chick, she's been the bunny mascot character the entire time. So I mean, so that basically means that Haruka and the other version of Shin have been here this whole time. I wouldn't say this whole time. I'm not going to jump to that conclusion, but yeah, they've been here, and well, they've probably been here for a while, and they have like an hour left before the hole in space time opens up and takes them back to their time. So we find out that in the future, Haruka and Shin are dating each other, basically married. Shin is rich, like I said earlier, he's rich. He says, you know, he doesn't do haikus. He can eat wasabi. Like it's weird. Like this guy's like completely just evolved. So we see that Momotaro walks in. Yeah, we see that Taro walks in, and the future Haruka like full on just attacks him. She punches him in the forehead, and it turns out they like the Dawn brothers in the future have like a falling out, I guess, where she like hates him. And also we see that Kijino asks about what about him and Miho in the future, and he said, nah, I can't tell you, not that. So I'm just like, this was kind of foreshadowing some things that could potentially happen, unless they like change the future or something like that. But other than that, we see that Taro is kind of big. He's kind of like he thinks it's interesting that in their future, in their world, they're not really fucking with each other like that. So we end up seeing that now they basically said that, you know, I came back here and they did all this, you know, the time stuff. We actually see that Tsubasa still being chased by Murasame, and that's when our three Cerebrand, they come up, and we see that Sononi is talking to Tsubasa, saying like, why aren't you trying? He said, you really think you could defeat the Juto with that kind of power? Why aren't you trying to beat it? But then she ends up putting on the bunny costume herself, and she ends up getting chased by Murasame for a while, and then she tries to, and then after that she being chased. So then after that, the rest of the other Dawn brothers kind of catch up with them, and she ends up transforming out and trying to fight Tsubasa. While she's fighting Tsubasa, we see that everybody else starts fighting the other Cerebrand. So we got like a full-on out brawl here. We got Murasame fighting Murasame. We got the Dawn brothers fighting the Cerebrand. And no Hitotsuki in this episode. Like, no Hitotsuki at all in this episode either. But while everybody's basically brawling out, we actually did see some combo attacks from the doubles with their other double, and turns out future Haruka is using the Phoenix. We actually see her use the Phoenix, and actually use the Phoenix gold form and stuff like that, and her and Robotaro formed up future Shin, end up fighting Murasame, and taking him out. They don't beat him though, but they end up taking him out. So he gets pissed. Like he gets real pissed, and he ends up transforming into his mech form, and then that's when regular Murasame transforms into his mech form, and we get a dark Murasame versus Murasame fight. And Murasame, regular Murasame, his mother asks future Murasame, "Do you not have a mother?" And he was like, "Mother." And then that's when Murasame ends up beating him. But I don't know if they like basically destroyed him. So like Murasame killed his future self essentially. So maybe Murasame like doesn't, maybe when he kind of like gets that upgrade or something like that. What does it say was an alternate future or a future itself? So maybe this Murasame, our Murasame we have now, basically becomes that later on and doesn't need his mother anymore. Maybe he matures. Because I feel like Murasame right now is a the Murasame that we have right now is basically a kid, like a little kid. So since he's sort of like a little kid, you know, he's always guided and stuff by his mom. But then maybe future Murasame is most likely a teenager probably, and a little bit more independent maybe, and maybe, you know, his mother's not around anymore. But other than that, the whole thing about the foreshadowing, future Haruka's manga foreshadowing some things. She said that she returned here because she wants to finish her manga because it's very important to her. And then that's when Taro kind of like disses her dreams. And future Shin basically tells him that, well, Shin in general just tells him that, yeah, people have dreams and stuff, but you never had, you were always good at everything when you were, you know, growing up and as a kid and stuff. You were always good at everything, so you never really experienced what it is to have a dream or have something you really want to do, because anything that you really want to do, you can just go get up and do it, you know. Like, that's how Taro is. Like, he masters everything just by looking at it or doing or just trying something once. So he doesn't understand the concept of dreams, and he doesn't understand the concept of like what is something that makes you happy. So we did see that while he was fighting Sonoe, he asks Sonoe, he's like, "Hey Sonoe, do you have a dream?" And then like Sonoe is like, "No, I don't want one." And he's like, "Cool." And I was like, "Wait, you guys are weird." But throughout but you know, I'm really we see that Sonoe is doing a lot to kind of like help Tsubasa. She, you know, we see that Tsubasa decides that if I find the bestial version of Natsumi and destroy it, then I'll be able to get regular Natsumi back. And we also saw that Haruka, when she saved him in the bunny costume, when she saved him, she wouldn't let him get Natsumi out, which is kind of weird. So I'm hoping that, so most likely all this foreshadowing and stuff, maybe most likely the Donbrothers are going to go to the bestial forest. They are going to go to the slumber forest eventually, since like that version of Haruka knows how to get there. So most likely they're going to end up going there. They have to. The slumber forest is basically somewhat of a big point in the story, because like all the people who are bestials who are running around the city, the real versions of them are in there. So we got to go in there and get them out. So we got to go in there and get them out. Even Kaito is in there. Zenkaiger Kaito. But yeah, so. But other than that, we end up seeing that the other two, the future versions of them, end up getting ready to go home through the hole in space time, and she tells Haruka, "Please finish the last page of my manga." And when she finishes it, she says that, what about what happens next? And she's like, "It's all in my manga. Like, do that." So she finishes the last page of her manga, and the manga ends up being a bestseller. But Haruka is very satisfied, but she isn't realizing that doesn't get rid of her plagiarizing allegations. But yeah, but the episode basically ends off right there. But next episode, we're going to see that we are finally free. They're finally going to find out that Tsubasa is Inu brother, and I'm really looking forward to that. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of this episode of I say Kamen Rider, because we've been doing a lot of Kamen Rider lately. But You guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Avataro Sentai Donbrothers episode 43, man. Y'all let me know what's going on. Let me know if y'all thought the whole double thing was cool. Let me know if y'all think the whole foreshadowing to what possible future that the Donbrothers could have with, you know, Sentai and each other in general. You guys let me know your thoughts on that. And I'm going to see you guys next time. And remember, stay kenshined. Like, share, subscribe.